Hi guys, my name is Eliza Keser. I'm a freshman and I take ARS 105 with all of you. After doing some research on this presentation that's worth 30% of our grade, I decided that I wanted to do Shazia Sikander because her work really spoke out to me. So let's just get right into who Shazia Sikander is. She's a Pakistani American artist who was born on March 6, 1969 in Lahore, Pakistan. She got her Bachelor's of Fine Arts from National College of Arts, also known as NCA, in 1991, and she studied miniature during Ziaul Huq's regime, which was a period of foreign investment and Western influenced. She basically revived traditional miniature painting while others were moving on to modern art and they were getting influenced by the West. Um, Later on, she moved to the US for her master's, and she did that at the Rhode Island School of Design from 1993 to 1995. Later on, she participated in a core program at the Glasgow School of Art in Houston. Today, she works in various mediums, miniatures, sculpture, drawing, animation, and calligraphy. She's known worldwide for blending cultural heritage with modern themes, and I feel like her work has really crossed borders. Now we're going to move on to how I felt connected to her. So I feel connected to Shazia not because of our shared heritage, not only because we're both Pakistani, but because her art expresses a kind of feminism that I relate to. I feel like um, one that's like misunderstood where we come from. In Pakistan, feminism is often seen as something extreme or anti-cultural, something that drifts you away from your religion. But it's actually as simple as equality for both sexes. It's about women reclaiming their voices within our traditions. And through her use of miniature painting, which was historically a male art form, it was something that the men used to do, never women. She challenges the patriarchy without abandoning her heritage. She blends identity and resistance, which is something I find very powerful. Um, I feel like her art is both resistance and respectful. She challenges the idea that the patriarchy is existing not because of someone's culture or their religion, but because of social structure. And I feel like she challenges the patriarchy while respecting her heritage. She blends heritage with empowerment, showing that tradition can power women too. That's one thing I really like about her. Now moving on to one of her pieces, which is known as Pleasure Pillars, that was created in 2001. This is actually exhibited at the Whitney Museum. The medium that she uses is gouache, ink, and gold leaf. It's a visually stunning piece of work, and it shows floating female figures forming pillar-like structures. Historically, miniatures showing women were seen as decorative, but Sikander flips that idea. In this painting, the figures move, they twist, and they radiate energy. They own their bodies with pleasure, and I feel like she reclaims sensuality with empowerment, and not objectification. Historically, women were just seen as pieces of meat, or something for the male gaze, but she rejects that idea. She shows that women have more to offer than just their looks. They have emotion, they have agencies, and the overlapping females, they show diverse identities, that there's no single definition of womanhood. There's no single definition of beauty standards. She celebrates femininity as something that's fluid, spiritual, and free. That's one thing I really like about her work. Now, moving on to um, what her breakthrough piece, which was the scroll. Um, this was actually This actually won many awards, and she made this when she was a student at NCA. This is this long panoramic scene of domestic life. It's a woman sitting, talking, braiding hair, and it's actually painted on a tea stained paper using Mughal miniature techniques. It's inspired by her own house, what she saw in Pakistan growing up. Um, then I want to zoom into what like you see in here. It's like women working their everyday life, and it shows home as not confinement, but culture and identity. And she challenges male authority by using patriarchal art forms for feminist expression. Um, she shows that this domestic everyday life is worth showing. It's not something to be ashamed of, you know? She creates a new beauty based on truth and agency, not idealization. And I feel like she's really showing the world what's in there, you know? Like she's not idealizing it or not sugarcoating anything. Then, moving on to one of my favorite pieces, which is Explosion of the Company Man that she made in 2011. Explosion of the Company Man. So, the Company Man is a reference to the British East India Company, which was seen as a symbol of male colonial power, control, and authority. So, by depicting this figure like literally exploding, she destroys the visual language of patriarch and empire that dominated the Southeast Asian art history. She uses a man, and she shows that by his downfall is where the woman break free from historical silence. She's subverting power, and she's focusing on intersectional feminism, which is it's not just about gender; it's about gender with colonial cultural power. Um, you know, she shows that like she uses male-centered art form and she turns it against itself, which is a radical feminist act. She shows that it's not just the man itself, but the political structures that favor the patriarchy, which is something that I really like about her. Now, moving on to her recognition and impact. Um, she's actually won many awards. She's known worldwide. She's gotten the MacArthur Genius Award. Time selected her for the 100 Women of the Year Award, and she's had her work exhibited at some of the major galleries and museums in the world. Like she has it as MoMA and the Morgan Library and Museum. So she's really, you know, known worldwide. I feel like her work really made it out of South Asia. So now we're gonna move on to how her feminism remains intact today. So this is one of her pieces that is displayed at the Madison Square Park in New York, and it's called Hava, to breathe, air, life. Hava in Urdu basically means to breathe and to breathe in air. So this is her public sculpture, and it places a female figure in a historically male justice related space, which is seen as a symbol of visibility and empowerment. Shows that women belong in positions of power and public life. It transforms her feminism into global and public art, and brings women out there from behind the curtain into the public. So she basically extends feminism into civic spaces. Now, the two questions I want to leave you guys with today is that in what ways does using the male-dominated miniature paintings become a feminist act? And can feminism coexist with culture without conflict? And this is my works cited.